Okay, so now another example is Christian approaches to other religions. And this is evangelism versus pluralism is how I'd call it. Pluralism is the idea that there should be a plurality of religions, a multiple amount of religions, lots of different religions finding the same truth. And the poem that is used is something called The Blind Man and the Elephant, which is a story, it's by John J. Sachs, and the idea is you have these 5 blind men trying to work out what this elephant is, yeah? And one person, this blind man, he thinks, he's feeling the trunk, and he's like, the elephant's a snake, yeah? And then the other guy is feeling the side of it, and he's like, the elephant's a wall. The other guy is feeling the tusks, and he's like, it's like a spear. The other guy is feeling the trunk, and he's like, it's like a tree. But they're all blind. And the last guy feels the tail, and he's like, it's a rope. But they're all blind. They can't actually see the elephant. They can't see the elephant. So they're all arguing about what the elephant is. But none of them actually have any idea what the elephant looks like at all, because they haven't seen the whole elephant. So this could be a Christian, a Muslim, an atheist, a Buddhist, a Hindu, let's say, trying to work out what God is. None of them have seen God, none of them know what God is, or none of them know what truth really is, because God is transcendent, beyond what we can know, beyond the horizon, beyond what we can know. But they're all trying to understand God, and through discussion, through sharing ideas, they can understand God, or understand what truth is. Say from an atheist perspective, I don't believe in God if I'm an atheist, but I can still understand God by, I can understand truth by what the world is like, by discussing ideas with Christians and Muslims and Hindus, etc. So God is unknowable, but we can share our discussions to understand God. Now, Christians can show that by the idea of everybody being equal under Christ. So Christ is not just Christian, it could be everyone. You can understand it through the principle of agape love. Love is patient, love is kind, it's unconditional. It doesn't matter what religion someone is, you still love them, you still show respect to them. And also a quote from St. Francis of Assisi, which says, preach the gospel at all times, when necessary use words. And that's saying the books of the Bible, the words of the Bible, are one way to preach the gospel, to tell other people about a Christian belief. Another way is to be a good Christian, to be a good person. And that is showing how to behave. So a Muslim could be preaching the gospel by loving their neighbour and being a good person. It doesn't matter that they aren't saying, you need to follow Christ. They're not saying that, but their actions are Christ-like. Their actions are Christian still, because they're doing good things. So that's a pluralistic perspective, the idea that we can have lots of different religions, lots of different viewpoints about the world, and that's fine because God ultimately is unknowable. Then you've got the evangelist viewpoint. Now, the evangelist viewpoint is that there is a Christian mission to spread Christianity to the world. So whilst it's okay for people to have different religions, the idea is that in a best case scenario, the whole world would be Christian. And the quote is from Mark 16:15, and it says, and he said unto them, this is Jesus saying to them, go into the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Preach the gospel to every creature. Tell everybody to be Christian. And that's what some Christians feel to be their responsibility, to make sure that every person is Christian in the world. And that would be an idea of religious discrimination, we could say. There's an idea that ultimately they want everyone to be Christian. So there's the evangelist view and the pluralist view. And those two are two different perspectives on how Christianity approaches other religions.